All right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying, Power, Shine, Paul, Balloon, Line, Power, Hashem, Shine, Hashem, Hakadosh, double homage to the elders and apostles, great millstone, who do, excuse me, who do well, blessings and salutations to the host of life, scattered abroad, Aki and the Aqua that's listening in, how the rock is our Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. The brother Shabab, I'm Yuan back at you with another lesson. I'm going into the title, Breaking News, right? Europe will now pay in Yuan. Japan ditched the dollar, all right? And, these are beautiful times, all right? Because what you're seeing is the collapse of this dollar, the collapse of this society, okay? And every time that you see, right, another country leaving away from the dollar of America, all right, it's another step closer to devaluing the dollar, you see? So now it has less value than it did before, you see? And this is, the collapse of that dollar bill that we have spoken about. Why? Because they're about to usher in this NWO. They're about to usher in this RFID, okay? Digital currency is going to be the only way that things can be paid. You can't buy or sell without this digital currency, okay? So, real quick, all right, I'm going to make it short, straight to the point, okay? Says Japan dumps 1.2 trillion U.S. bonds. Right? It says a financial time bomb has been triggered, and the fallout could decimate the U.S. economy. Right? Yeah, because that value of that dollar is worth nothing anymore. Right? It says Japan, America's most loyal ally. You see, and this is what's happening. All the allies, right, of America are leaving them. They're no longer dealing with America. Okay. It says most loyal ally and largest foreign creditor is being backed into a corner where its only choice for survival is to dump its massive 1.2 trillion in U.S. Treasury bonds, with oil prices skyrocketing past $110. Yeah, because now it's around 110, 120 is going up too. All right, so now gas prices are going to go even up higher. All right, but I'm telling you, by the summertime, all right, you're gonna be paying $5, 5.50, $6 possibly. All right. It says past $110 and the yen cratering to historic lows. Tokyo is preparing to defend its currency by attacking American financial stability. You see, and that's why all these nations are gonna end up leaving America, all right, and going to deal with the yuan, going to deal with the BRICS nation, man, the BRICS currencies. You see, because it's either they stick with America and they end up causing their economy to fall with America, or we just ditch America and let them fall by themselves, all right? And that's what eventually is happening, okay? They're allowing America to fall by themselves, and this is orchestrated by your elites. This is orchestrated by your crew lord. You see, they know exactly what was the consequences if they would go to this war, okay? So let me just grab this real quick because this is based on the allies, right? This is Obadiah 1 and 7, right? It's loading up. Give me 1 second. It's loading up right now. Being retarded. There you go. Actually, you know what? Why it's taking on? Hold on. I got all the Bluetooth shit on. Right? So it says Obadiah. Obadiah 1 and 7 reads, all the men of thy confederacy, all right, have brought thee even to the border. NLT says, all your allies will turn against you. They will help to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive you and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you and you won't even know about it, you see. And they're going to come in the same manner that Esau, Edom comes, you see. He'll pretend to help thee, right? But he shall yet undermine thee. So these nations are plotting to deceive you and destroy you. See, they're gonna promise you peace, right? Just like America does. They start off with a peace treaty, right? And then eventually they do what? They break that covenant. They break that truce breakers. You see? So they're gonna come in the same form. It's gonna return upon their own head, right? So they're already starting to plot against America now. All right. Best believe all these nations are sitting at a round table without America, trying to figure out how they're gonna end up, making this economy collapse, basically destroying them. You see? So let's grab this. This is Ezekiel 7 and 18, and it reads 19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of wrath of the Lord Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity. You see, so people won't cast their money, their gold in the streets. Why? Because it's going to have no value, man. All right, the dollar's going to collapse, and when the dollar collapses, the only thing that's going to be worth something is going to be precious metals. But eventually, precious metals will also collapse, also. Okay, because you're not going to be able to use none of that for the NWO, for the New World Order. You see. This is coming into a digital based currency, okay, worldwide and globally, okay. So they don't need that physical money, that paper dollar no more, that petrodollar no more, that gold and that silver, okay. So eventually precious metals will go down also. All right, let's read that in the NLT. It says they will throw their money in the streets, tossing it out like worthless trash. Their silver and their gold won't save them on that day of the Lord's anger. It will neither satisfy nor feed them, for their greed can only trip them up. You see? And this is why the Lord, right, said that watching for riches consuming the flesh. You see? Because people out here still setting their heart on money, still setting on trying to make a dollar, right? Saving bonds, you know, looking ahead of the future, to save on, 10-year plans, 15-year plans, and none of that's going to work, man. All that is going to be diminished, it's going to be erased, right? This is Ecclesiasticus 31 and 1. Watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep, right? It says, this is 3. The rich has great labor in gathering riches together, and when he resteth, he is filled with his delicates, right? And James tells you that those that have heaped treasures for those last days, man, they're going to be destroyed, right? This is James 5 and 1. It says, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and your silver is cankered. The rust of them shall be a witness against you, and ye shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Salakia. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hires of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord Sabaoth. You have lived in pleasure on the earth, and been wanton. You have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. You see, so these people have heaped on treasures for these last days, and the scriptures say that riches profit not in the day of wrath, man. So all those riches that you've heaped together is for nothing, okay? Because when the Lord's judgment comes, all right, you're not going to be able to pay off the Lord. You're not going to be able to, sign a check over to the Lord, right? That's going to be destroyed with you. You can't take it to your grave, right? It tells you that in 1 Timothy 6 and 4, and it reads, Salakia 7. It says, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we could carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us be there with content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in the destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which some coveted after they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Yeah, because they have made it a stumbling block. They have made it a God unto them. You see, going back to that Ecclesiastes 31 and and 4. The poor laboreth in his poor estate, and when he leaveth off, he is still needy. He that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that followeth corruption shall have enough thereof. You see, and with all money comes corruption, man. Okay, for the love of money comes with corruption, right? It says, gold has been the ruin of many, and their destruction was present. It is a stumbling block unto them that sacrifice unto it, and every fool shall be taken therewith. Blessed is the rich that is found without blemish, and has not gone after gold, right? Being rich in faith. You see, you know, that's what's going to preserve you in these last days, man. Okay, riches profit not in the day of wrath or righteousness, okay, saved from death at the end of the day, okay. So Japan has officially, all right, dumped this dollar, all right, and that's beautiful, all right, because it's showing that, you know, uh, the American stability, the financial stability of America, all right, is no longer anymore, right. So it says Tokyo is preparing to defend its currency by attacking American financial stability. Okay, and that's what everybody's doing. That's what Iran's been doing. From the inside out, breaking down the infrastructure of America. Okay, now let me read this other one. I'll pretty much close it out. Right, this one says Russia announces that all future oil and gas deals with Europe will be priced in Chinese yuan. You see. And that goes back again to crashing the dollar here in America. All right. So now you have Russia, all right, telling all these European countries that they have to buy in Chinese yuan, all right, which they've been telling. That's what Iran was telling all these different nations to begin with. They were saying, we'll let you pass through the Strait of Hormuz. We'll allow you to continue to do what you do if you would just ditch America. See, America is so hated right now and is greatly despised that nobody wants nothing to do with America. Okay, that's why. All right, the allies are leaving. There's another one that you just had that's leaving is Turkey, man. Turkey's about to leave, which that's Bible prophecy according to Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Okay, Turkey's about to leave America. All right, because they're starting to get affected. All right, by what's going on in the rest of these other nations. All right, I believe Spain also was on the verge of leaving. Okay, so again, all right, it's a beautiful time, all right, to be alive in this truth, man, because prophecy is playing out according to the scriptures, all right, and as the scriptures say, this prophecies, right, shall this gospel shall be preached throughout the four corners of the earth, right, according to prophecy, and then the end shall come. You see, so the Lord is ending this place, all right, quicker than we think. It's a process, but it's still going quick for the elect's sake. All right. And what's happening is it's globally being destroyed from the inside out. Okay. That's why you have all these different nations hurting. And that's why they're ditching America. All right. In general, they're ditching the dollar, they're ditching the help of America. All right. And they're pretty much leaving America, all right, to themselves along with Israel, man. See, America want to be Israel's little bitch. All right. So what happens is the rest of these nations pick up on these things and they say, you know what? We've got to just deal with ourselves, right? And allow not our economy to collapse due to your wickedness, basically. Okay. So, hey man, prophecy is beautiful right now. So we just gotta continue to keep an eye on this thing. Let's see what happens with it. All right, let's see how it turns out. Okay. You're gonna have DJ Trump, trying to wage war because of that. right? But hey, it's a beautiful day. So I'm gonna leave it there through the spirit, Lord willing, that you will edify. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Shai, call for William Blind, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Bahashim, Bakat Kadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the old four elect that scattered abroad. I keep the Aquat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom.